that should be able to watch them. But it's funny because there were two conversations and I can't remember if that one was hers. Okay. Good morning and welcome to A1 Vacuum and Sewing's live feed for Tuesday, the 25th of April. It's been feeling very late spring, early summerish here in Reno. Another warm day, beautiful day. Very nice weekend. I think I have been able to successfully exhaust my youngest dog, but only for brief moments. So, as I had mentioned on Friday, we will do our giveaway tomorrow. I'll wait till Jeannie's back. We kind of have a basket of giveaway stuff that we've pulled aside. And, oh, that's funny, Soki. This is the first time you've ever caught us live. Wow. Well, welcome to the live stream. So, we'll do our giveaway tomorrow. And we'll do our giveaway. I don't know if we could do it on the chat. There weren't too many questions from Friday's live stream and comments. I think there was a grand total of 17 comments. And normally when we do the giveaway, they're like 90 to 100 comments. So I don't know if it was just that people didn't have technical questions. So they didn't post anything, or if they, question of the day. I didn't come up with a question of the day on Friday. And we'll see. Maybe what we'll do is we'll ask a question tomorrow and do the giveaway on Thursday. I've been tired. I was talking to Jeannie this morning and she's like, "You've been handling a lot." And I'm like, "Well, it doesn't seem like that much." But it's enough. It's enough. I did look through the questions from Friday just to see if there were any remaining technical questions that I hadn't answered. I'm just looking through them again because there was one, I think really the only one that I really saw was the question from Lady Fair, which is, how often do you run into problems that just can't be resolved? And I think there were, several folks that, really kind of appreciated having the live stream devoted to technical questions. And maybe we could do that, both from a technical standpoint or maintenance standpoint, as well as maybe we'll have a sewing Q&A, or, you guys can ask questions about which stabilizer to use or something like that. Or you could just get the dime embroiderer's compass. So anyway, so how often do we run into a problem that we just can't fix? It has happened. Although incredibly rarely, and so this is actually worth talking about. I mean, I have seen machines where we really struggle to duplicate issues. And so, that's something to consider. I have, and it's part of the process. How companies handle their warranty makes a difference as well. And this is what I mean by that. one of the, I think many of you know that we were a Janome and an Elna dealer. Part of the reason that we went away from Janome and Elna were we had greater challenge. There were a lot of problems that we didn't seem to be able to address. And some of those problems, yeah, there were two internal engineers. They didn't always know how to fix problems. Sometimes they had divergent opinions on how to fix problems. Sometimes parts availability was an issue. And it was enough that, you know, we had some challenges with it. So if there were problem machines, we stopped carrying them. Threaders on 15,000s, for example, became a big issue for us. And this is not to talk down about Janome. We sold a lot of Janomes. It was just one of those things. Baby Lock, and this gets kind of crazy, but Baby Lock handles their warranties very differently than Brother does. And quite frankly, how they handle those machines warranty-wise has changed in the last couple of years. Like there's a new leadership team at Baby Lock, and you know, just kind of how they handle warranty and how they handle fixes and stuff like that has changed. So I'll answer that question in 1 second, Cindy. So, you know, one of the things that has to happen when we see a machine is we have to be able to see a problem. We have to be able to duplicate it in order to be able to fix it. And so have there been machines that we can't fix? You know, with older machines, you know, maybe there are parts that aren't available or parts that aren't easily available. Technology has changed. Like the older machines had touch glass. Nobody makes touch glass anymore. Sometimes people go, oh, that's nonsense that they don't make that anymore. In some circumstances, I don't think you're wrong. Like I think there's some planned obsolescence that goes into it. Quite frankly, I don't think we see it a lot with the Brother-made machines, partially because with the Brother-made machines, most of those parts, like Brother seems to build on a platform, not recreate a platform. And what I mean by that is you find parts in their machines right now that have been in their machines for 30 years. So every now and then, though, technology changes. Touch glass is a big one. So if a panel PC in a machine with touch glass goes, I don't have the ability to fix that in most scenarios not because they stop carrying the parts, but because the manufacturer of touch glass stopped making touch glass. Like the technology changed, you know, they moved on. You know, it's kind of like having a card reader in a machine. If you've got a machine with an SD card reader, that technology went away. People stopped using flash cards and they started using thumb drives or USB. We're going to see that technology change. And that's just making you aware of it. Have we seen it yet where machines don't have USBs? Not quite, but it's coming. There will be a day where they either have USB-C, which is becoming far more common, or where they just go wireless. And for those of you that have been reticent to make that switch to wirelessly transferring designs on your machines that can do that, they're going to force your hand there. Not necessarily because, you know, they're trying to force you into a new machine, but because that's what happens with technology. Technology superseded and manufacturers change, parts become obsolete or more expensive. Now, to answer the question from a how often do we see problems that we can't fix standpoint, like I said, it's happened. Maybe twice or 3 times in the 8 years that I've owned the store have we seen a machine that we duplicate a problem and that we can't fix. If the machine was purchased by us And generally, if it's within a couple years old, uh, depending upon the manufacturer, sometimes we'll just replace the machine. And just to call it what it is, I saw a machine this weekend. We sent a machine home with somebody last week. She was having a very bizarre issue with the machine. She brought the machine to me. I was struggling to duplicate the issue. And then I tried to update the machine, and the machine failed to go into the update screen. And that's really weird. Brand new machine right out of the box. I'm replacing the machine. And that is a dealer call. And quite frankly, with Brother, I can do that. With Baby Lock, I may have had some hoops to jump through, but I think they probably would have replaced the machine too. And so, so it does not happen often that we see a problem with a machine that we can't fix. Normally what it really is we have a problem that we can't duplicate, and that can get weird. And I've seen some kind of weird stuff. Like I have one customer that has a machine that will not, like, it'll shut down because it essentially has a power issue in her sewing room. And I've never duplicated the problem in the store. We actually sent the machine back to Baby Lock and they couldn't duplicate the problem there. But I believe that she has the problem in her home, and what the problem is, we're not sure. But the reality is, we've kind of identified that the problem is in the house. It involves this one specific room. So it doesn't happen frequently. Generally when it happens, it's based around, the fact that, we can't duplicate the issue, or we struggle to identify the issue. And it's funny because I'm trying to think of the correct number. There was a 10 needle that we had that was doing some weird stuff. Like there was something going on with the 10 needle that was causing the thumb drives to fail. Like we finally duplicated the issue in our store. And Baby Lock finally duplicated the issue in their possession, and we replaced the machine, and that machine was replaced literally, like the woman had the machine for 3 or 4 years, and it was an intermittent problem. It was just one of those really weird things, and it just took a long time for us to duplicate it. But 9 times out of 10, more than that, like I think it's happened twice. I did have one luminaire, and it was funny because it was a brand new luminaire, and we just couldn't figure out what was going on. And because it was brand new, we replaced it. We just didn't want to really figure out the issue. But that was one, quite frankly, where I feel like, I think we could have fixed it and successfully fixed it, but we replaced the main tension unit in the machine. We really didn't play around with it. Like, i.e., like we saw the problem. We saw that it was like not working properly. We replaced the tension unit and the board that drives the tension unit, and then it still had problems. And even at Brother's suggestion, they were like, just replace the machine, send the machine back, and let us deal with it. Regarding a drop of sewing machine oil on the hoop, it's hard to slide in. So Cindy, I'm assuming this is a Baby Lock or Brother machine with the slide-in frames. I have mixed feelings about that. And it's funny because when Jeannie was here at one point, she was talking about with the dime frames, that she had talked to Dime, and Dime at one point said you could lightly sand the hoop in order to make it go in to the hoop a little more correctly. I'm really hesitant to tell people to sand or modify their frame. And in fact, on the dime frames, I'd be far more likely to suggest the dime frame, the frame connection or the slide, the part that's on the slide can be replaced. It can be removed and replaced. And I'd be far more likely to suggest replacing it than I would be to sand it down, just because it's really, really hard to sand things or file something down so that it's perfectly flat. Regarding putting a drop of oil in your hoop, there are things I would do before that. One would be I would clean that hoop slide. I'd clean the frame and I'd clean the slide. It's very common for us to see basting spray, sticky stuff, and the like on that part of the machine, and that can make it very difficult to put in and out. If it's one frame and one frame in particular, you could try it. You're adding oil to an area, quite frankly, that's not really supposed to see oil. And so you run the risk of oil oxidizing, changing color. Like, you're just putting oil in an area of the machine that doesn't have a lot of moving parts. And it actually does have that sensor. I don't imagine that oil would totally damage that sensor, but that's one of those things where I don't think you're going to really hurt anything. I think folks, I don't think folks are, putting a ton there. I mean, the bigger question is, how would you do it? I'd put a drop of oil directly against the left-hand side of the upper portion of what slides in there. And the reason I mention that is there is a bracket that slides against that frame. And so that bracket is where you'd want that oil to sit, and quite frankly, it's hidden. It sits underneath. So I don't know how you'd actually put the drop of oil there. I'd actually put it directly on the frame. And, what I've done for most folks, if they're struggling to put their hoop on, is I've reshaped that piece just slightly so that it's a little easier to get on and off. So I know that's a very long-winded answer to your question, but what I wouldn't do is be putting a drop of oil on it every time. I'd oil it once, put the hoop on and off, see if it makes a difference. And if it does, great, but I wouldn't oil it frequently. It's definitely not an area. There's no moving parts, so you're not spreading that oil around. You're putting oil in an area that's definitely going to get on, like every frame that you put in there is going to get a little bit of oil on it. So it is one of those things. So let's see. Let's see. Some of the larger frames have more secure connections too. Like when the Luminaire and the Solaris came out, a lot of our customers really struggled putting the 10 by 10, 10.5 by 10.5 and the 10.5 by 16 inch frame on. And quite frankly, they made that attachment much more robust because they wanted to make sure that the frames were in there securely. Mine doesn't go in. Thought it was just me. I've had problems with my machines. I've video called to show them my problems. The bigger hoops don't. Yeah, so so that's just what I was saying, Cindy. The bigger hoops actually are a little thicker than the littler hoops because they want them to sit there more securely. A lot of times if the hoop doesn't sit totally flat or isn't in there securely, it can tell the machine that there's a different hoop in the machine than is in there. So, just something to consider. Good week to bring my gallant in. They're all good weeks, Carolyn. I never know what's going to happen during the week. We are about 2 weeks out. And we are getting into a more regular schedule with Alex, which is a good thing for a lineup. I just tell you to bring it in, get it in sooner than later. That's bad for software with a dangle and no USB. Not sure what that means, Stephanie, but I think you're probably talking about like the lack of USBs in machines. It's coming. I can just tell you it's coming. You can see it happening. It's not just Baby Lock and Brother. All the brands are doing stuff with wireless. And I mean, your laptops don't have CD players anymore. Like my laptops don't even have standard USBs anymore. They have USB-Cs, which is the new standard that's coming. Latest on Jeannie and Violet. Jeannie's in the air. Violet's on her way to the airport. Violet's Reno won their division, but they were not top 10. So we know they're top 14, but that's all we know. We don't know their actual ranking until the scores come out, and the scores will actually be published at the end of the week. Violet did not win her unit. The representative team from Arizona did. That said, we don't know where she ranked. So their feedback was phenomenal. Violet said she was very happy with her performance. I think it was great for Jeannie. Jeannie had a nice and relaxing weekend too. I talked to her on Sunday and I was like, how's it been? And her comment to me was, I've napped every day, that's what Jeannie needed. So I was super happy to hear that. I think they had a wonderful time. And Heather, given that you're local, I can play with your hoop connection. And if it's your 9.5 by 14 inch hoop, it is supposed to be tighter, but if you're really struggling I can change that. Drop of silicone spray on your hoop to ease it into the slide. I won't comment on that because the only thing that I think you should use on sewing machines is sewing machine oil. And then like silicone spray may be slightly like Teflon spray. And I don't know for sure if this is true or not, but like you cannot use Teflon based lubricants in many areas of the machine because the Teflon leaves a coating. So like in certain areas, as you use more and more Teflon spray, it basically makes openings much, much smaller. So I don't know about silicone spray. Given that I don't know about silicone spray, I would actually say not to use it. I would only use sewing machine oil. I have heard from Jeannie. I talk to her every day, or if not multiple times a day. She had a wonderful time. It seems mine is getting hard to get in, so I pull it out and start again. By the way, I got my scoop in the hoop time order in yesterday. I hope this event and orders place help your shop. Thank you very much, April. I do not like the 9.5 by 14. If anybody here wants it, let me know. I'd be curious to know why you don't like that, but that's obviously entirely subjective. Jeannie loves hers. In fact, her comments about the dime frame are go big, get as big as you want. Let's see, dongle. I used my 9.5 magnet hoop from Dime one time, went back to the box. disclaimer, it's heavy and it rubs the machine. So, I mean, they are big, but I think what most people find is the ease of like their projects in those dime frames. They are heavy and you can get pinched, so be careful. Felt on the back of the hoops. And Dime does sell the felt for the back of the hoops, which I didn't realize, but they do sell it. And no question is Jeannie was out of town. Yeah, there was no question. Let's see. Placed an order early last week. Confirmation, but like several, the confirmation disappears. I actually did not look at your order last week, Alice. Without knowing what you ordered, I can't comment. If you ask again tomorrow, I'll take a look today and I'll try to reply. We did a good job of getting a lot of orders out last week, but without Jeannie, if there were questions about orders or duplicate orders or multiple orders, a lot of those sat. So there was a little bit of a delay with orders last week. Okay. I am going to get Cash in the register and my dog in the crate, although she is sleeping heavily. I think we did a good job of exhausting her this week, and this weekend. And, we're going to get to work. Have a wonderful day. Jeannie will be back tomorrow. We will do the giveaway. Like we'll have a question or something around the giveaway tomorrow. Once Jeannie's back in town, and we'll let you ladies know how we're doing that tomorrow. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.